So I wanted to get this kicked off with just some talk about this AI transformation we're kind of going through in the marketing sphere right now. I would like to know just from you guys, just to like cut through the noise, what's kind of the biggest gap you're seeing between the hype around AI and how much people are talking about it and how many LinkedIn posts I'm seeing about it and what's actually working? What things are actually working for clients right now that you're working with compared to what you're kind of seeing on the web about all these new tools and exciting tools?
I'll tee this up for Neil and then I'll chime in behind him. But they've actually done great creative work for their clients around this. So Neil, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but that seems to me is like an obvious thing.
So what we're really seeing that's working out really well is leveraging AI to make creatives at massive scale. And I'm not saying remove a human from the element, but, leverage AI. What we're finding is if a human is like, all right, I'm going to help storyboard this. I'm going to work with AI. I already know the objections that our customers are facing and the most common questions they have, the reason they may choose a competitor over us. And I'm going to create 500 variations through AI, right? I'm talking about the creatives. You can end up testing them really quickly and seeing what works, what doesn't. And with platforms like Meta, you can do the intro, the body, the conclusion, and chop it up in multiple ways. So then you can test multiple hooks versus multiple outros. And we find this super effective. Then once you have a winning combo, you can then end up taking a human and then either spruce it up, or you can just create it from scratch using humans instead of AI and then test it again to see if it converts better. But we've been finding that to work extremely well for companies of all sizes because now creative isn't a thing that only large companies can afford. I'm talking about high quality creatives, right? Anyone can do it now with AI.
I saw the CEO of Mudwater. He did a creative using VO3. And so VO3 is Google's tool to make creatives. And it cost him maybe $100 and 2 hours of his time to use. Some of it was B-roll of people drinking mud water, which is like his product, right? It was pretty funny. You had like an old guy that was like skiing naked and it was like censored. And then you have like a granny saying she wanted to start a cult and there's a bunch of grannies around her. It was funny. He scripted it. He used a handful of tools and he made something. And, you look at this 2 years ago, this would have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and months of time, and he got it done. And so that's one example. But even on the other side, both Neil and I, we do SEO for our clients. And so a lot of the content now is, when it comes to SEO, it's much more transactional content versus informational if you're trying to rank on organic search. And we're able to produce it now a lot faster, and it's production grade quality content where there's still a human in the loop, and it ranks well. And then the thing I've been experimenting with is leveraging Cursor plus MCPs to publish things to my work. I can call my HubSpot data. I can call my Google Analytics data, my Google Search Console data. It's like I'm playing a video game. And I was telling Neil last week, I used to play online poker like a lot in my 20s. I used to have like 16 tables open at once.
Wow.
And now each table is an employee and there's a heads up display for each one. And you're just doing this very quickly, right? And so when I say marketers that don't do this are going to be behind, I'm like, everyone's got to learn Cursor now, in my opinion.
So you've replaced these online poker skills with now AI skills. I'd love to hear that. It's a really fun change right there.
Yeah, it feels like playing a video game, honestly. I feel like everyone's going to be doing this. I'm guaranteed Neil's going to be like this very soon too.
This has made me think about, there's a lot of online poker sites globally. You can create an agent to play poker for you on 48 tables. It's just looking at probability, and you can probably make really good money from doing that.
There have been a lot of stories coming out, especially this week, about people using ChatGPT or other AI for investing as well. So kind of on the same line of that, giving it $100 and like seeing what it could do. So there's definitely been that transformation of now automating all of these tasks. And especially now, I feel like it's kind of a bit Wild West where not everybody is up and up on the technology yet, but people are slowly getting there. And the people that are really, really using it are standing out of the pack, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, my take on it is if you're already a person who's super curious, you're going to become 100x. But if you're a person that is naturally not curious and a person that blames other people and blames the world, it's going to amplify you in a negative direction. So just like money amplifies your nature in a positive or negative way, AI amplifies your mind in a positive or negative way. So you can become like a 0.1 person or a 100x person. You decide what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. And Eric, I actually wanted to go back to something you said earlier about SEO, because something else I've been seeing a ton is about the death, quote unquote, of SEO and how it's changing and how, AI is becoming answer machine and not a search machine. I would like to get from you guys how you think AI is making it kind of harder to hit some goals for marketers right now and what they should be doing to change that?
Yeah, so we look at SEO in today's world as search everywhere optimization instead of search engine optimization. Google has roughly 13.7 billion searches per day. They've been growing, even though no one really is talking about them compared to like ChatGPT. But that's roughly 27% of the market that they're controlling. If you look at the other platforms like ChatGPT, probably billion plus searches a day from the numbers that we're seeing online. Although their user base has just grown, they just announced that they have around 700-ish million active users per week, which is quite a bit. Then you also have Amazon, which is around 3.5 billion searches a day. Instagram's over 6 billion searches a day. There's traffic and volume everywhere. You just got to optimize for all those platforms. And SEO isn't dead. It's changed. It's harder for the people who are still using the old tactics. And what people are making a mistake on SEO with is they're just like, okay, my rankings and traffic have tanked from Google. I'm screwed. Well, have you optimized to be included in the AI overviews or AI mode? A great case study and example of this is HubSpot, as you know, John, in which HubSpot, I believe, has 300 plus articles on CRMs. They use AI to help them out. So things like, I'm making up the title here, the best CRM for construction companies with under 100 employees, right? And then you're breaking down all the things that HubSpot has in their CRM solution that's relevant to construction companies. Then the LLMs are citing this. So when someone's searching on Perplexity or ChatGPT, they're pulling from this, which is causing them to get a lot of customers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing I'll add on to that is maybe 15 years ago, 16 years ago, when I first started in the industry, organic SEO was very much the only game in town. It was organic reach, right? And now it's organic reach is Amazon, it's Pinterest, it's Instagram, it's these other LLM services, right? And so I think marketing 101 has always been where your customers hanging out. So you go to that first, maybe master one channel, then you can figure out how to diversify. The reason why I'm a big fan of, so Neil and I, we record every week and then I do my YouTube channel is because when you do long form, when you have a pillar piece of content, you cut it up, everything kind of funnels downward. And so I just think a lot of traditional SEOs haven't adapted. And when you go on Twitter, for example, all the SEOs are just blaming other people and blaming Google. I think it's time for SEOs that do that to just take responsibility, understand that you don't need to try to master everything. You can just try to master a couple and then you'll be a lot better. But I think everyone has to become a creator moving forward. It's just a game that you have to play. Otherwise, go hire an in-house influencer.
No, totally. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, I also think one of the biggest things that people can get really good at that maybe is an overlooked idea is just getting really good at prompting, just generating prompts for your AI and kind of training it and being able to train it with the best of your abilities to do exactly what you want. Do you guys have any advice for how to correctly start prompting or any kind of tips and tricks that you use?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I wasn't a big fan of being all over prompts. And maybe a month or two ago on X, I made a new bookmarks folder called prompts and I start saving them on there. But I will say, when I use Claude Code plus Cursor now, Claude Code allows you to make these sub-agents. And so when I say agents to you guys, it's like, oh my God, do I have to build like this N8N workflow or this Zapier workflow and like, do all this stuff that I don't want to do? Like nobody wants to build workflows, man. So what I do to Claude Code, all you do, literally, I dictate out exactly what I want, and it will create a prompt for that sub-agent. So let's say I want one to focus on optimizing my pages. I want for conversions. I want another one to find high intent keywords or keyword cannibalization. I can make all these sub-employees using Claude Code, and all I do is dictate it, and then I'll see what the prompt looks like, and then I'll edit the prompt in there, and it just improves over time. And then not only that, these are actually doing work for me, and I didn't really pay attention to prompt engineering until I started using them as employees.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you're looking at prompts, for most people, they think of it as just like, hey, I'm typing something into ChatGPT and they're just going to answer something for me. And if you're going to use prompts at the basic level, people make mistakes on two fronts. The big mistake that I see is, one, they're not logging into these solutions. If you're logging into these solutions, they start learning more over time on what you're asking. There's history. They improve over time based on what you're looking for. So if you're not, quote unquote, the best prompt engineer, it kind of is like a little handicap where it's helping you out as it's learning based on what you actually want versus what you're typing in. Mm-hmm. The second thing is people aren't really specific. You can't be generic with your prompts. The more specific you get, the better of a result or output you're going to end up getting. And when I say specific, some people try to get too specific where they're asking like 50 things in one prompt, and you got to let the, AI give it time to think. So try to break it up. So then that way, yes, you can get specific, but think about sequential. What would you ask first, then next, then after that to really get what you're looking for? The results tend to be better because their goal is to give you an output as quick as possible. So if you ask them to do too many things at once, the results just aren't going to be as good versus if you break it up.
Yeah,
Right.
and let me give you some rapid fire ones real quick. Let's say you want someone that's the world's best SEO expert. So you lead off with that, right? And then they're going to give you more specific answers. What I like to do with my first prompt is I like to say, ask me clarifying questions before you give me a response. Because oftentimes we're very broad with how we're prompting it, right? We're not thinking through it. Now, here's another interesting thing. 99% of people, I don't think, do this enough. Everyone's like, they just default to the model that ChatGPT has open. Use the O3 model. If you're using Claude, use the thinking models, right? So if you're using O3, it's going to think for you. If you're using O3 Pro or you're using deep research, the MCP connectors, you're going to get much better responses overall. That's going to help you.
That's an awesome tip, actually. I really love the idea of it asking clarifying questions to you, because there are so many times where I make a prompt and then I forgot, like, oh man, I should have like specified this one or two things, and it coming back to ask clarifying questions is a big thing as well, because sometimes it does give information that maybe isn't necessarily wrong, but information that doesn't seem right at the time. So you need to kind of dig deeper into that as well.
But Eric hit one important thing, the nail right on the head, in which a lot of people use the free versions, paid the $20 or 200 or whatever it costs. I know not everyone can afford the $200 a month, but I believe the cheaper plan is somewhere around $20 a month. It's a big difference paying $20 versus using a free solution. And you may look at it as like, man, that's $20. But if you're having it do important tasks for you, it's cheaper to pay $20 than it is to pay a human.
Yeah.
So think about it from that perspective. And I get 200 could be really expensive depending on the country you're in, but $20 most people can end up paying for it instead of paying for a human.
By the way, if you're a business operator, if you're hiring people, I like asking this question. What are you paying for out of pocket right now for AI? There's someone we talked to in Brazil, and this is expensive. She's paying, I think, $400 a month on AI, US dollars, right? And someone from the Philippines who we talked to, she's also spending like $300 US. So if they're really serious about this stuff, really easy question. How much are you paying out of pocket for AI right now?
And last thing I wanted to hit on with you guys, I've noticed now, obviously, like there's so much opportunity to make content with AI and put it out there. Do you think there's any problem with that in terms of putting out content that's kind of like mediocre or not exactly incredible looking and definitely looks like it was generated with AI? Because I think we're still in that kind of field of thought where seeing AI is like very easy to spot, but maybe we're going to come out of it soon. But what do you guys think about kind of making content more quality instead of quantity, especially kind of in this era that we're in?
I think in 1 to 2 years, nobody's going to care. So my take is it's not going to matter in a year or two. It's already not mattering, but Neil, go ahead.
I have a little bit of a different viewpoint, but I know Eric didn't go as in depth with his viewpoint, so he probably agrees with this. The reason Eric say it doesn't matter in a few years is the big thing is the quality is naturally going to improve in this technology in a few years, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. Two, people overrate having perfection in marketing. It's better to mass produce, experiment, see what works, and then go perfect what's working versus perfecting things, throwing it out there and be like, oh, I just spent all this money and it didn't end up working out. But if you are trying to create, let's say, content like on social media, and some AI content's doing really well, a lot of people don't like it because it's not as personable. So at the flip side, Sam Altman talks a lot about this. People are wanting community more in person, connecting with others. They still like that personal stuff. They're not getting as much as they used to because of AI. And some platforms are actually trying to detect AI content and remove it. Right. So for example, I dare anyone listening to this, go try creating content from AI, text-based, and posting it on Reddit. Reddit's really good at detecting AI content, and it just removes it. So you don't want to purely just rely on pure AI content, because a lot of the platforms are actually craving human content more than they're craving AI content.
Yeah. No, great shout there, especially with the text-based content on Reddit. I know they've been very, very good about that, actually, at eliminating
really
any
good.
kind of slop.
One quick thing with Reddit, it's not just detecting the slop. If it's too structured and it doesn't sound human, because AI has a certain way of structuring
it has
content.
a exact, like, the headlines,
they just flag
the
it and they
structure.
remove it.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Especially like, oh my God, heavy emoji usage is also something huge that comes up, especially on the LinkedIn post. You know who's logging that, the ChatGPT over there.
Yes.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much for being here. It's been so great to hear from both of you, and yeah, definitely good luck. And I'll be tuning into marketing school real soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you both. Okay, that's going to do it for us today, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of HubSpot Media. Our editor is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go sign up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at thehustledaily. We'll catch you later.